Toads and Diamonds, a stick figure story. Adapted and illustrated by K. Ryan Henisey. Not so long ago, and not so far away, there lived an old widow with 2 daughters. The daughters were each more different than the other. The eldest, Fanny, was tall, dark, and proud, while the youngest, Gentle, was small, fair, and sweet. One day, the widow asked the girls to fetch water from the nearby well. Fanny, who was reading a book at the time, said, "Mother, I'm too busy to go get water from the well. Why don't you have Gentle do it?" And Gentle, of course, just smiled. And she looked at her mother and she said, "Of course, I'd be happy to go fetch some water from the well." So Gentle went, over the hill, through the woods, and across the bridge until she came to the well. And there she drew water from the well and filled the jugs. And just as she was about to leave, an old woman came walking across the bridge. "Here, let me help you with that," said Gentle, as the old woman drew closer. And once again, Gentle drew water up from the well and filled the jugs. And then she helped the old woman put them over her shoulder, and she wished her a good day. And as she turned to leave, the old woman said, "Wait," and she revealed herself to be a great and powerful fairy who had come to test all of mankind. And she found goodness and kindness in Gentle's heart, and so she decided to give her a boon. "Now," she said, "whenever you speak, all shall know the riches of your heart." And with that, the fairy disappeared, and Gentle was left alone with water jugs full. As soon as Gentle returned home, she began to tell her mother the story. "Mother, you won't believe what happened, the most amazing thing. There was this old woman, and I drew water from the well for her, and then she turned into a fairy, and she told me that she was going to grant all of my wishes, and I have no idea what she meant, but it was amazing." And what Gentle didn't realize is that every word that she spoke, a jewel or a diamond or a flower, fell from her mouth. Gentle and her mother were overjoyed to see such treasures, but Fanny was not so pleased. "Huh!" she thought. "Oh, she helped an old woman. Well, I could help an old woman. That's the easiest thing anybody can do. Just wait until tomorrow and I'll do it." And sure enough, that's exactly what Fanny did. She waited until the next day, and then she grabbed the jugs first thing in the morning, and she rushed through the door, slamming it closed, and she went over the hill and through the woods and across the bridge, and she waited there by the well, and she waited. And then the sun got higher, and she waited. And then the sun grew even higher, and she waited. And she was starting to get frustrated when this young woman came up, and she asked, Can you help me? The water, it's so heavy, and I need help filling my jug." And Fanny looked at her, and she said, "No, I don't have time to help you. You can do it. You're a young girl. Pull the water up yourself. I'm waiting for the old woman." And so the young woman struggled, and she drew the water up, and a long time later she left, and no old woman appeared. And at the end of the day, Fanny went home. "Well?" asked her mother, as Fanny slammed through the door. "Ugh! Nothing. No old woman appeared. There was no one there. No one at all." But what Fanny didn't see, and the others did, is that with every word she spoke, toads and vipers fell from her mouth. For the young woman was indeed the very same fairy, and she had cursed Fanny for the cruelty within her heart. Fanny grew so ill-tempered that she started shouting and screaming, and soon the whole house was filled with toads and vipers from her own mouth, and her sister and her mother had to flee in fright, and they too went over the hill, through the woods, and across the bridge, and they passed the well, and they came to the road, and there they stopped, and they rested, and they waited until a car came by, And the driver, seeing them there on the side of the road, pulled over and asked them if he could help. And Gentle, thanking him for his kindness, astonished him with more jewels, diamonds, and flowers. And he instantly fell in love with her, and he gathered them up, and he swept them away, and they lived happily ever after. The end. Thanks for watching. This is K. Ryan Henisey. Be sure to visit kryanhennessy.com for books, stories, art, and more. Thanks for coming.